Hello, and welcome to TWI After Discussions for chapter. Alright, I forgot. Oh, yeah. Chapter 9.64 BH. I'm Eduron, and I'm your host today, together with Mr. Wiggles. Just an exclaimer, English is not my native language, so maybe sometimes I have to, search for the correct word in my head. And yeah, that's that. Let's start with general impressions for the chapter. Uh,
What'd you
I
think?
can, yeah, I really loved the chapter. It was a perfect last chapter before the big solstice, and my goodness, the the beginning with the lore drops again, with the chess game with the game of fate, and we got finally we saw the crossroads, what they entail. It was hilarious again because the horns are always hilarious, mostly to Best Boy Kissenver, and um, it's amazing how scary that place is. That seasoned, okay, not a seasoned gold, but a good gold rank team, because that's what they are getting their ass kicked by like one crab sword thingy, and the other dangers. It's just, in my head, it's a messed up Alice in Wonderland situation where they find themselves, and I really liked it. The end, the registration, the adventure registration was also awesome, and I quite enjoyed the chapter.
Yeah,
What about you, Wiggles?
I absolutely agree with you, Eduron. This was an amazing chapter. We got some really nice lore bits from the Blood Tier Pirates, and
Mm-hmm.
it was all set up basically for and teasing us for what's going to happen on the solstice, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's going to be a blast. And the horns, man, that exploration of the crossroads was so much fun. It was just a great time. I just absolutely loved it. And Kolth, of course, getting to be one of the horns is now official according to the Fae. So it's basically official. It's official. It happened.
I
He's
don't
the fifth
know.
horn. And now we
I
got
don't
a
know.
we got a sixth one with Vofia there. So we'll see what happens there, but I am like 99% sure she's going to die to get them out of the crossroads, which is sad, but I can't get too attached to her because I think she's gonna die.
Always getting attached, so it's even harder.
Yeah.
Uh, Bleach Soul, you up?
Yes, I really like this chapter. It was great seeing the Blood Tier pirates, or at least their thought process and how they are going to attack the Terendians, even though they are much they don't have as many ships. And it was great world building with regards to the roads. So I'm looking forward to Volume 10 for the new lands in this kind of world building, because it's been great. And I liked how the horns went from, oh, this is boring, to holy shit, get us out of here. It was really great. And yes, that fairy, she will die, but actually it's, every, I mean, like Shastriel and everyone said like she will die, but she will get them out. And I'm glad that the horse will be at the solstice together with Eren, because I was thinking, what, it's not right for them not to be with Eren at the solstice. Yeah, so it's a great chapter, and now we have to wait 2 weeks for the start of the solstice, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
I totally agree with you. The moment they finally acknowledged, yeah, we are Aaron's team. I personally got a little bit emotional at that point because it's just true. These the Horns of Hammerhead are Aaron's gold rank team. Cerber.
It was a great chapter, but I'm a bit disappointed because the chapter did some stuff, but it's and I have some problem with it, but it's not really its fault in a way. I think some of the information revealed in the chapter should have been said or put forward earlier. Wolfia should maybe have a bit of an introduction before and another chapter just to tease her for a bit. Because now we're supposed to care about a fey that came out of nowhere and suddenly joined the Orn. She was just introduced this chapter. She was not even the star of the Texia scene. Chastel was pretty much a star with Texia in that scene. So it's a bit weird to start caring about her for a bit. And my other disappointment is the Ilfrey spellbook saga. Oh god. A quick recap for those that forget what happened. Which some days Ilfrey died during the Selkirk's test. She got a will to give her spellbook to Sia. Amiris is supposed to do the act in that will. She just gave the book to a random student. That random student get bribed or threatened or I forgot whatever by a Charles gang who throw the book into the sea. In the middle of the Witch of Ice, Gazi find the spell book, study it, and later Gazi and the Orn meet again just before the Nyolmut final battle. So, and we're supposed to learn, and at that moment from this chapter, that Amiris forced Gazi to give the spellbook, while the whole thing at the start was Amiris' fault. I would have liked a discussion between Amiris and Syria about it, for instance. Amiris was somewhat friendly with Ilfrey. She was the only one that Ilfrey was the only one that Amiris dueled with. So I would like a bit of nostalgia stuff, grieving about that type of conversation.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I personally agree, especially with the point that it would have been nice to have an introduction for the what's the name of
Vofia.
Of Wufia. I personally agree that former introduction would have been nice. I mean, we had some scenes with the Fae before, and it's true that it would have been nice to have an introduction before. And the real star of the Texia scene, I see what you mean. All
For
right.
for Vofia, Eduron, I do or Super, I do think that this is just her introduction, and we'll see how it's dealt with
Yeah, in the
in
winter
the
solstice.
solstice. But it could be done really well and getting like a very Vofia focused chapter. So we'll see. It could go well.
Well, we'll see.
And maybe now that everybody thinks she's going to die, she is gonna be a fixed part of the Haunts of Hammerhead. Is going to be their anchor to have like otherworldly adventures. Maybe that could be fun if she would be a fixed stable and not just like show up and die.
That's exactly what I'm expecting. Show up and die. Death.
No. Mr. Europe.
Yeah, I love the chapter. I love the return to exploring and weird monsters and strange lands that's been missing for a long time since we've pretty much ever since the dungeon kind of fell off the back burner. But I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 chapter, really. But I do have to say that I definitely think Vofia is going to die, and it's because I'm still convinced that none or barely any significant characters are going to die in the solstice. So the pirate is introducing new chapters to terribly murder in place of it, which is great. But I did particularly like actually the fact that Vofia wasn't the main thing in the Texia part, because we kind of need some more Shastrel stuff, because she's been just hanging around in the background, and in order to sell this, she's been sent by the Fairy King to make some moves. She does actually need to do some more, like be in charge of a few scenes in order to sell that. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I personally forgot sometimes that she has that big of a role, to be honest. That she is more than just like a friend like Everleaf was, but she has an actually goal there and not just hanging around.
Yeah. Do you
I
want?
just I
Oh,
uh, I just wondered. I mean, okay, maybe can do that later. Comments.
all right, I'll read them out. Linu says 16 out of 10 Chappie, plus 10 for Sylvania mention, which to me is the most important part of the chapter. Plus 2 for Kolth, who is the most competent adventurer in the world, like a true demon. Plus 2 for Demons mention, because we're cool. Plus 1 for the cool but confusing battle scene. I still don't know what that monster is. Plus 1 for the ships. Ships carry fish sometimes, and fish equals sushi. I love sea, so I loved it all. Great chapter. Give me more stuff like that. All right, Lenu, I'll explain the fight scene briefly for you. Basically, what happened is they go into the deserted village. They see Bograms. Bograms is like an illusion master. That's it. Bograms is just a huge illusion master, so he's tricking them into leaving leaving the village and going to a different campsite, and then he tries to go and get word to transport him back into the normal world. And then when that doesn't work, he keeps trying to screw with the horns, and then he, gets a bunch of monsters to come after the horns. That's about it. It's not. It's confusing on the first read through, but I think if you read through it a second time, knowing what Bograms is, it'll help you a lot. Okay, Mystical Pie says, I love the horns in the face section, and it was an incredible penultimate chapter for the solstice. The Blood Tears section was fine, but I honestly could have done without it. I know it's important setup for whatever will happen during the solstice, though, so I'm holding judgment to see what Pirate does with them. Yeah, it's absolutely going to come back up during the solstice. So I think this prep work for it here is really important, because otherwise, people complain that it just
Where
comes
they're
out of
coming
nowhere.
from? Why
Yeah,
are they here?
yeah, exactly, Eduron. What is their goal?
Yes.
So Pirateaba is setting them up now, which is good. Relia says, any chapter where the horns find new and creative ways to get beat up by giant monsters, for now like the 7th time, is great. And then there's a smiley face with 8 chins. Also, by the way, I reckon Bograms was kind of like Bogarts from Harry Potter, at least in the name / illusion biz. I'm not 100% sure who Bogart is in Harry Potter. I haven't watched or read Harry Potter in like a decade, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Eduron, do you have anything to say about this?
I read Harry Potter in German, and there's probably another word or character. I don't know. No. Normally, I'm
Okay.
a big Potterhead, but I can't.
Okay.
I have no idea right now.
All right. Well, we're both, useless host. That's okay. Mystical Pie says Vofia is definitely dying. If she somehow doesn't, there's a 0% chance she joins the Horns because she would completely stunt their growth. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think that Vofia is absolutely dying, because she did join the Horns here. Like they registered her as a Horn, which means she absolutely is joining the Horns. She's not gonna register herself, save them, and then just be like, oh, I'm no longer part of your team. I'm going off now. So yeah, that's why I think Vofia is definitely dying.
Maybe she is like part of the team, but not always there. She is part of the team, but doing her own thing. And when they need a bigger hitter, they call her. I don't know. I would hate to have a character who just shows up to die. I never liked stuff like this, and having a fake character in your own team opens up a possibility for so many adventures in the future, and it would be awesome.
That's
It's
true. It's
uh,
true. But
and
we'll see. It
yeah,
it could go either way still. I'm not 100% positive. It was just the way they were talking about Vofia and how they were sending her off that it felt like a last goodbye.
it's true. Started crying.
Yeah. Bleach Soul says the fight with the sword crab was hilarious just for Pisces, Yvonne, and Kissenberg getting beaten. That was very funny. I loved the sword crab. It was great. It was absolutely great.
Kiss him, bro. You should have just hired a sword crab instead of me.
Yeah,
It was
that's
hilarious.
just, you know, he brought up a good point. Like a beastmaster who like has a sword crab as a pet would just, it would be insane. Like a sword crab
Holy
beastmaster
shit.
pair would be insane. Anyways, Linus says, I want to point it out for Thedacron, who isn't here at the moment. His big theory about boxing the Fae by the system might really happen, and the satyr might become leveling creature, but I am not sure of that. However, if it happens, he'll be happy. Personally, every Fae can go suck it for being bad to have elves. Okay. The bookcase says Bogrum's, or he's bookcase is quoting a chapter which says Bogrum's Mahadak Asgrel, and bookcase says Whomst is Mahadak and Asgrel. I have no idea. I was very interested in that part too, and I was kind of wondering if anyone, um, you know, knew those names like from mythology or something. But it seems like I haven't seen anyone come up with any theories about that. So, yeah, not sure on that. Agent Fogg says, hear me out. Vofia goes back in time and invents Bogrums to guide them and level them up. I
My
don't know about
goodness.
that. I don't
That's
know
a
about
goddamn
that.
anime plotline.
Yeah, that's very anime. And then Brack has a picture of a one-eyed ogre running at us. Very nice, Brack. Bookcase says, hate the Cyclops in relation to Brack. Mr. Pie, you're unmuted and you're typing loudly, so I'm going to mute you real fast. Bleach Soul says, after Solstice, all the horns will be named ranked adventurers. Moerchen says, Vofia will join the horns, but Colt has to die. Vofia might even have a connection to the Serried Lambs. I object to this in the strongest way possible because Colt will never die, ever, 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 ever. And Dart Time Guru says, deferred sustenance will become a named rank monster. You know what? I don't get the pun here. I'm not even gonna try to get the pun. McChuckles says, I like Vofia as a possible druid of the grip. I would really like them to have a convo with the crab and gain another team member. Yeah, the crab. We need a crab pet, a sword crab pet, for sure.
That would be awesome, indeed.
All right, let's go back and do the people who wanted to talk now. Sidehammer, you were pinging that around to talk.
Hello. So, am I heard? Can I be heard?
Yep, we can hear you.
Uh, as for the Harry Potter reference, that's a Bogart, or it's a Boggart, and it's a monster that takes the form of your fears. Um, just for that. Deferred sustenance is the name of the rock crab that the queen has, and I think they're equating that to the new sword crab. But that's for those. I particularly like this chapter. I liked Bograms. It was fun. Pirate always has neat, creepy monsters. Um, I was really enjoying learning that the Bloodfields creatures, or even the fauna and the flora, can move. They're all mobile and stuff. That's pretty neat. I have to disagree about Vofia. I think I have to disagree with Sir Bear. I feel the Tetsuya scene, or the signing up scene, was particularly impactful. At least to me. I'm a blubbery bitch when it comes to like self-sacrifice and knowing that things are going to happen, but doing it anyway. So I was literally just weeping through most of that. My eyes were just running the entire time, and anytime I mentioned, that they're gonna die, but she went through it happily, or she smiled happily, and agreed to it. It reminds me of the way Ivolet viewed Ryoko in a way. I think the way Ivolet knew that Ryoko would be one of her only friends, or one of her only mortal friends. I think it's possible that Bofia has the same awareness that the horns might be her friends, like we're destined to be her friends, and so there she's gonna go for it and do it, be an adventurer with them and stuff. And I think the point to even going to the Adventurers Guild, unless it has some sort of um, symbolic magic, then I think that means that she's not gonna die. I am interested in her race, though, being a satyr. Uh, but I left that in the questions for the questions later on. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make some enemies here. Kolth was annoying in this chapter. He's too know-it-all, and he's a bit insufferable. I wish they had beaten the crab. There, come at me.
All right, all
Well,
right. I see someone has a terrible opinion, but that's okay. We all have some bad opinions. It's okay.
Uh,
It's okay.
I mean, he's a named wreck adventurer. I think to be know-it-all he deserves it to be a
He
little.
does know it all too. Like he's just
Yeah.
a smart, know-it-all person. He does know it all. And the
He's
horns,
doesn't mean
especially
he can't be
Pisces,
insufferable.
should listen to him all the
Doesn't mean he
time.
can't be insufferable. And ever
But
since he showed up, horns have been getting schooled over and over again, and kind of, I don't know. I miss the horns being good at stuff.
They are good at stuff.
they are
They're
good,
just not
but
perfect.
yeah, they have to learn, and I think that's one of the reasons why Kolf is never gonna be a part of the Horns. I think he would never be able to like take cues from Syria as the leader. I don't think he would respect the hierarchy of the team. He would like they would lose themselves in his name and in his reputation.
See,
I
I
don't think
don't
he's gonna join.
I don't agree with that at all. He's a super support. No, not. It's not. That's whatever. He's
Yeah,
an
No,
ultimate supporter. That's what his role is to be a supporter. He does know how to support team decisions, and it's not like he was overriding Saria at all this chapter. He was allowing Saria to command them, and he was following her instructions. So I don't agree with you there, Eduron.
I think the way Syria herself acted towards him, calling him boss, and talking about him earlier with Eblon is kind of an indication that he's not joining. At least from Syria is a nay vote at least.
Sarah is just a loser. Okay, she has a helmet on that made her lie about having a super spell book for a whole volume. All right.
And
Okay.
Pirate is building up something there for a long time. This is gonna be a big blowout
Yeah.
with that thing, but that's in the future.
But
Are there other comments to read
yeah,
out? Otherwise, I will post the first question.
let me read out the last comments, and then Rhythm and Brews wanted to speak, and then we'll do the question. McChuckles says he's Batman. Batman's allowed to be annoying. I don't agree that he's annoying, but okay. In terms of Colt, anyways, I agree that Batman's pretty annoying at times. Bookcase says the Horns are good, but they are working out of their league. True. Mr. Europe says Colt is known to overplay the roles he takes on. Bleach Soul says, but he took orders from Syria and followed them. Yeah, exactly. He's we're not going to get too much into that again. McChuckle says the Horns are Colt's Justice League. Okay. Luna says Colt is a friend of best people, demons, thus he is great now and always, and he really helps Horns, who, let's be frank, have shit in place of experience. They got 2 lucky raids in their lives, and before that they spent years being just silver ranks and winning world. Help of Colt, even if it's harsh, can really help them become better true named ranks. I don't think it's that they're that inexperienced, but Koth is much more experienced than them, so he's definitely helping them out. Dart Time
Can I say
Goose
something?
says, "Is this why they call it the Waning World?" Shut up, Dart Time Goose. And Relia says, "Remember when Koth literally said he got ulterior motives? Wonder what that's about. It's about the demons and how he hates slavers. Okay, that's what it's about."
I just want to clarify. I don't think Kolth is not good. I still like Kolth. I just think he was a little insufferable this chapter. I think he's awesome, but he was a kind of a dick. That's all.
All right. We won't go too far into that. But Descanter wanted to talk, and then we can do the first question, Eduron.
All right.
So I like this chapter overall. I thought there was a bunch of good stuff. The Blood Tier Pirates reveal of what they're actually doing. I thought we were actually. I got a little bit faked out because I thought we were going to get deeper into that, and we just got this sort of mini slice and teaser of what's going on. It's like, ooh, the ghost told them they could get something by attacking it. I thought on the whole Kolth thing, I thought that this was actually the first chapter where I felt like Kolth could be a part of the Horns team, because this is the first chapter where I got hints that when they're interacting with each other, the Horns aren't like a set of extra skills and limbs for Kolth to use. They like actually had some expertise. Yvonne showed she could fight things that Kolth had some trouble with. Saria got to make decisions. Kissenberg is a little out of his element, but we'll get there and so on. So I thought this chapter gave me some hope that that Kolth and the Horns working together longer term might actually be a thing that could be good without them being kind of overshadowed by him. So kind of like that. And also Kolth is joining in the Great Horns tradition of jumping into things that are way too powerful for them and possibly having to get bailed out by outside forces. I kind of hope that it's not just a complete bailout from Vofi and company, that they have to use some of their own wit and skill and whatnot from the 5 of them, get them through it, even if they get some help for it. And that's where I kind of am on this. And so it feels like a lot of setup for what's about to happen. And I also kind of wonder how much of this is going to get resolved by Solstice, like between the pirates and all of these. Is it all going to come to a conclusion, or are some of these things just going to stay ongoing and what things are going to stay ongoing into Volume 10? Those are my thoughts on the chapter.
Oh, all right. Then let's get on with the first question. Could you read it out loud, Wiggles?
Sure. What will the Horns get out of their trip to the Crossroads? It'd be pretty sad if the summary of the journey was didn't listen to her, got a Fae to lose her immortality, and maybe her life to save our bacon.
Yeah. I personally think the most that they will get out of there is like hardcore experience. This is their gauntlet. I feel this is going to be their gauntlet and their foundation to really be not just a good team but really a great team. I mean, Texhire once said that it's tradition for gold ranks to like walk into the blood fields. Uh, Now a gold rank team walk into a death zone because that's what it is a great way to like level. Another question was if Pisces and Syria will hit their level 40s in the Fey realm and the Crossroads. I mean, and I don't know if they will hit their 40s, but it could be. I mean, it it might as well could be, but when they're done there, they're gonna be really close to name rank, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll definitely agree with you, Eduron, that this is like their hammer and anvil, you know. They're getting forged through this into a
Mhm.
named ranked team at least. I think if they come out of this, once they come out of the solstice, they'll be a named ranked team in all but name if they aren't, you know, actually named ranked. But yeah, so
Mhm.
I definitely think they're going to come out of this with at least Pisces getting level 40. Kissimver and Saria are more up in the air because Kissimver is definitely on the lower end of the 30s right now, and Saria has been stuck mid 30s with her circlet. We haven't really seen any progress towards the 40s for her. So I do think but I do think Pisces is the main one who's going to get the 40s. But the last thing I'll say that they'll definitely get out of this is they basically have to complete the heroic quest to get out of the
Mhm.
Crossroads right now. They have to find an exit and an entrance into the Crossroads to get out, which means they'll complete the heroic quest. And I don't know if that'll play in to during the solstice event, but it could very easily. Like they could
De-
get something right then for the solstice event and use it right then for the solstice event.
Definitely, that's always what I had. I don't know if anybody can recall, but it's exactly what I predicted is going to happen. That they're going to enter the crossroads and going to Izril, going to the inn through the crossroads, or at least near them, and just gonna be popping out at the right exact time to save the day or be in a very important have a very important role. Um, Feeling smug about getting my predictions uh, right, and I what I thought could maybe be funny is I don't know how time works exactly. Is there a time difference between outside and crossroads?
No,
Is
there
it
doesn't
all?
seem to be. It seems to be same time. You just go, you
Hmm.
walk much faster. There's like a universal
That's
speed effect.
yeah, yeah, but that's uh, what about comments? We have some. Or people want to talk before that, probably.
Yeah. Bleach Soul, why don't you go? Give us your answer.
Yes, first of all, I was a bit disappointed that Syria got the book, you know, without seeing the interaction. I would have liked to see the interaction because I wrote a couple of weeks ago, like I wish Syria would have talked to Ghazi and got the book, but now she has the book. But I wished I would that we would have seen the interactions. Uh, yes, and with regards to power up, yes, they all gonna. I think both Syria and Pisces will get to level 40. and even Kissinger, even though he's on the low 30. And I believe even like Pisces and Syria might get over level 40, like counter leveling or something, because they're gonna have like quite a struggle. They have been there in 5 days, and if they don't sleep or do anything, and all they do is fight, so of course they're gonna counter level and become I don't know, like over level 40. Yes, the thing is about Kissinger with all his classes, it could be quite limiting how much he can advance with his levels. But yeah, I mean, like he's up for class consolidation very soon, I believe, and his and his all of his classes will be like very extremely useful to him, and the calls will be proven right once again about class class unity or something like that. Yeah, but I believe like all of them will become at least a name ranked team after the solstice. I don't believe any of them will suffer like or will die after the solstice. That's it.
Yeah, I also think that nobody of the Horns is gonna die, as people would riot if that happens. Literally. But I agree with you. After that, the more and more I think about it, this is gonna be their hyperbolic time chamber, their training ground. They're gonna be buffed up when they come out of this. So who's next? Rhythm and Bruce.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, of course they're gonna hit level 40 out of this, but you made some very good points about Seria and the Circlet and Kissenber and just needing a bunch of levels to get there. I don't think I do think Seria and Pisces are likely to get there, if only because they're learning more about how to use magic better, particularly in adverse circumstances. And Saria is getting challenged even through the circlet, clearly, and learning that she can't just rely on it to save her butt. So I think, and both of them are close enough that I think that making out of this, they're going to hit 40. Kissenver, maybe not. I think at a minimum, one more of the Horns is going to get over the 40 capstone. Probably two is my best bet for it. I don't think it requires counter leveling per se. I think that it's just leveling. That this is what normal leveling is. That they're what it takes to get past that. That's another good point about them getting the completion of the heroic quest out of it. That would be that's a good point as well. So that's my thought on this question.
Yeah. Now that I even think about it more and about the bracelet, that one theory just came up in my head that instead of like getting rid of that thing, maybe it's gonna be part of her kit. The door also was just an object for Erin, but she leveled and it become a part of her skill, part of her kit, even though it was an item. And maybe something similar can happen with the item that she has. It's gonna be dissolved and gonna be part of her kit, like a modus she can turn on and off. That's just the
That-
theory I just came up with.
That would be pretty insane considering how powerful that circlet is, and
The door's also powerful.
yeah, but it's okay. It is the door is powerful, true, but it has just one function. You know, the circlet has like 5, 6 functions built into it that we've seen basically. So it would be it'd be
Yeah.
crazy for level 40. I think it'd be a little crazy for level 40.
I mean, what do we learn? That people can like up to 20 levels.
And they can get some pretty insane skills if they're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Europe. Not Wiggles.
Yeah. I I think they're going to get a few things. Like, I mean, the obvious one, of course, is the quest and getting a bonus reward for the quest. Maybe they'll just get Gun of God Slaying and just ice Casigna right there, and that'll be how the solstice ends. But seriously, I think that I mean they'll be primed for going in and out of the blood or of the crossroads and getting into the town. That I also think they'll find something there, either something to do with the purple and orange factions or something else. But it's hard to say at this point exactly what it's going to be in terms of material rewards or whatever. I think they're gonna. As the comment that wasn't read out earlier, I also think that they're gonna come back with the knowledge that Hectval created the crossroads since they turned everything into gelatin, and among others. But yeah, I think their main immediate thing is just going to be levels and some sort of bonus reward that they're going to get out of it, and
Yeah.
like and then of course it's the journey important than the whatever, and the fact that they're going to work together a lot better during this whole thing. It's a team building
Teamwork.
exercise in a death
Yeah.
zone.
Teamwork. Very important. And you did bring up one thing that I'd forgotten about until just now, a crack theory of mine. The purple things, I'm just going to say it, the purple things are very obviously doing telepath attacks. They're using telepathy. That's why Kissinger was getting like a headache and kind of hearing them. It's definitely telepathy. And I think it's possible that Kissenberg can talk to them by the end of this, because I'm pretty sure the purple things and the orange things are gonna keep following them because Bogrims is gonna, keep leading them to him, to the horns. I mean, so I think it's possible that Kissenberg could communicate with them in some way, and maybe get them on his side. Maybe at the very end of this, the horns are going to bring the purple and orange things through the gate with them and just kind of sick them on Caligma's army.
I mean, Kisima has pet classes, so
Yeah, that's true.
maybe. Yeah.
Anyways, that's kind of my crack theory for that.
There's a lot of crick in there. It's true. So who's up next?
Sir Bear wanted
Sir
to speak,
Bear.
and then I'll read out comments, and then we'll do the next question.
Correctly.
So I don't think Seiya would get name adventurer rank after the crossroad. She's level 35. She need to she needs 5 more level to reach 40. And with the circlet helping her a lot, it'll be extremely difficult to make her a name adventurer rank. But I think Pisces and Evelyn will be the name adventurer. Evelyn already got the level 40. She got bear training, and we finally saw her use one of the ring. So if you take the ring into consideration, into level 40, Evelyn will probably be name adventurer, and obviously Pisces will get his last level up and be 40 plus, like Tisa predicted, and be finally a name adventurer. But I want to talk about a non-official non-member of the Orn, Ver. I think what Ver will learn from this scenario is probably to communicate more. Because across the chapter, Ver doesn't say that many things. Yeah, something happened. Ver goes like, "Oh yeah, that happened. You don't know that," and so Ver will probably learn to communicate to other people what the crossroads do, what they are, and to give information to people. Because even though the Orn disobeys for a bit, it's a bit of their fault because he probably knows some of the monster, he probably knows some of the stuff, and he said nothing.
Yeah, you're right that he did say nothing, and that's a large problem for him. But at the same time, that's kind of it's an issue because of him being a doom bearer for so long. You know, he's
Yeah,
had to live in secrecy most of his life.
yeah, but he had a bit of communication with the other doom bearer, with Marsha. He started to teach stuff to teach stuff to other people, to communicate, to make plan, not just abandon Dion and almost let them die in a way.
True. All right, Eduron, do you have any response to that? Otherwise, I'll just read out the comments and we can go on to the next question. Eduron?
You can read out the comments. I was muted.
Okay. Mystical Pie says, to be honest, I think they get levels and better teamwork with Kolth. If Pisces hits level 40, I think he'll do it at the solstice. I don't think any of the other horns hit level 40 this volume. There's just no way Saria gets 5 levels with the circlet, or that Kismet gets 9 levels. Maybe they get easier access to the Crossroads with something like Warrior's Skill, but I don't see them getting some insane artifact or something from the Crossroads. I don't remember what Aaron's heroic quest reward was, but I think they possibly claimed that as well. So the heroic quest reward was the passphrase to Imlerith, the City of Crossroads, and the skill to get into the Crossroads. That was the reward. So yeah, if they do the heroic quest, they will get that. They will get Warrior's Skill. On Saria and Kissenberg, there is one thing we should keep in mind, is that we just haven't seen their base levels in quite some time. So they could be closer to 40 than we think. But I'm still on the side that they're not going to hit 40.
I mean, we have seen people level multiple times in big fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, this is gonna be like a death sentence for a huge. It's gonna be probably like fighting non-out named rank threats and gold rank threats back to back. It's gonna be harsh, and maybe they're gonna. I think there's a good possibility for them to like get multiple levels.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's 5 days in a death zone where they're constantly fleeing imminent death. I absolutely assume they're leveling like crazy from it. I just don't know if it's enough to get them to 40 in that window. But yeah, you're right. Kel says, given Vofia got into Crossroads via the Bloodfields Gate, they at least finish the quest. Yeah. Oh, Pisces hitting 40, getting an amazing capstone, and putting it to immediate use as a necromancer counter Cassie. Needs to get another boost of respect for his class. That could help. That could work. Yeah, I could see that. I do really want to know what Pisces level 40 skill is going to be. I really
awesome.
I really do like necromancers, and it's just going to be really cool, I think. Okay, Linu says, depends what they will take. If they will keep to their end of the bargain with one and only all-powerful, beautiful commander of demons, Sylvania Energy, then they will possibly loot entire walled cities. But I don't think it will happen now. I think that big expedition to Crossroads and exploring those cities and places will happen in Volume 10. For now, I think they will have much better team play, team understanding, as in they will train and learn how to fight better as a team, much better. So overall, big level gains, relics, and best stuff possible, Volume 10. Currently, better teamwork, maybe some levels for them. That's it. Yeah, the teamwork point is something a couple people brought up, and it's a very good one. Like this it will forge them into a named rank team. I'm sure of it.
And I also agree that we are just starting with the Crossroads, and maybe even to really see what's in there, it's not even going to be volume 10 but 11. 10 is going to be probably the new world, and I think to be able to face whatever is deep inside the crossroads, they have to be like not even starting to be named adventurers, but like deep hardcore named adventurers. All of them, not just as a team, but individually, they have to be named rank level to like really look at the heart of the crossroads, because they're just on the front gate right now, and they're already getting their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And
You know, I was just we've been talking about the horns this entire time about how Saria, Kissenver, Pisces will get levels. We haven't talked about the best horn, Kolth. There is a slight possibility he hits 50. There's a possibility he hits 50 from this experience, okay? And then that'll
I
be a super power up.
don't think he's gonna join, but we will see. We will see.
Shut up, Eduron. Shut up.
You
Let
can
me read
have
these more
your
comments. Aurelius says, I reckon there are some living people in the City of Crossroads, maybe some harpies to further that plot along, or other eccentric old drakes who are super isolationist. We'll save the day because with Vofia joining the party, the readers will just assume she can beat Bograms, and Pirate probably wants to go against those expectations, also still holding out hopes they will get 40 levels from the quest reward or else a super cool artifact from Imlerith. Smiley faces with 5 chins. Also, maybe those 2 people Bograms mentioned are in the city, like a jailer, maybe lead it, who knows, an open mouth with 6 chins. Also, maybe for the past 5 days, the Horns have been chilling in Imlerith because they found a way in on like day 1 and kind of got trapped there doing stuff. That's a lot to take in, Relia. I can't believe you still think they're going to get 40 levels from quest reward. But okay. Anyways, you're right on the Vofia joining just to beat Bograms. I see that too, but I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see. Kel posted the quest reward, the passphrase of Imlerith, experience and explorer classes, and access to the Crossroads of Izril skill. Yep. So if they complete the heroic quest, they will no longer need Wur the Warrior. And Dark Time Guru says, to be fair, his name is Wur, not R. Wow. Sirius, Sir Bear says, Sirius said she didn't level mid V9, I think. That's still a while ago. Mid V9. We're at the end of V9. Moerchen says Sari lies. Sir Bear says it was narration, so no lies. Bleachlow says Pisces should have his duelist class to level 20. Then when his necro class hits 40, the two classes will consolidate. Possibly. Kel says Colt hits 50, class changes to a Horde of Hammer. That's great. Love it.
it's not gonna happen, but it's okay.
Mystical Pie says this is actually the class Kalruz gets in the Volume 12 climax. Ooh. And then we'll get a 7th Horde. Or 6 if Fothea dies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alright. I think that's all the
Yeah.
discussion for this question. Let's go.
So let me post the next one.
Do you want me to read this one too?
Please.
Okay. Given the phrasing of proof of being a friend of Manus, should it be possible that the Horns could have opened the gate to the City of Crossroads by offering their titles as Hell's Wardens, given that fight happened on Izril? What do you think, Eduron?
I mean, how to prove that they fought an adult crawler? I don't know if. I mean, it could have. It's what I also thought, that why didn't they mention that they like beat an adult crawler? But I always thought how to prove stuff like this. So maybe it could have worked. Maybe not.
So, Dart Time Goo says the door replies, "What's a Kreller?" And I think that's actually on point. I think Imlerith disappeared long before Krellers were even a thing.
Oh, it's
So
true.
offering a title like Hell's Warden, it wouldn't mean anything to the city. But even if let's just assume that Imlerith was around and knows what Hell's Wardens are, this seems like something that needs a physical token of some form. You can't just say you're something because
Mhm.
like the city's on lockdown. It's on lockdown. They don't want people to just come in willy nilly. So you need a physical token. And in this case, it's probably something from Manus that was produced back in the time. You know, like their passports, you know how they have like different passport levels? This was probably like, you know, level 10 access gets you into Imlerith when it's on lockdown and its barriers are up, you know?
Hey, Wiggles.
Yes, Cal.
Kind of like the that sword master from the
Oh,
Village
yeah.
of the Dead that had he had a token to
Mm-hmm.
prove that, and that was from a
Oh,
Drake City, so I imagine it would be
true.
something like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. Leech Soul, you're up.
Yes, with regards to the question, I think they're gonna be either specific artifacts or specific code words. So the code words can function as a key. I don't believe the key is a physical thing, more like a metaphorical thing. It's some kind of a password uh, or an object that you have to present as a proof from cities that you claim to be. So I do think it's like that, and I think it's really strange. Maybe not so much strange that they don't like the City of Graves. The door, I mean, got angry at the City of Graves. So I think there gotta be some kind of a history there. Yeah, but the key could. I'm not sure if it's a physical thing. I don't believe it's a physical thing. Just like a password or something. That's it.
Hmm.
Well, you're right. We do know that there is a passphrase of Imlerith. You know, we know it from the
Quest.
quest itself. So yeah, there certainly seems to be some passphrase that will work. So maybe all of these are just passphrases from the different walled cities.
Say friend to enter.
That'd be pretty simple. Anyways, I think that's all the people who wanted to speak. So let me just read out the comments now.
Do that.
Sir Bear says, I think Hell's Warden is older title that got adopted to Crawler Slayer, but it must mean something else. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. I don't think we've had any indication of that, but it could be true. I just don't think we've had indication it's a repurposed title. Relia says, also, they could literally say they defended a Drake City, let's score, against Face Eater Moths when the Drake armies literally were debating if they should fight back, so they're just kind of forgetful, I reckon. Smiley face with fortunes. Also, they could just be like, you can't prove we didn't defend Izril. Just checkmate semi-sapient door dabs. Smiley face with just one chin this time. Relia, I don't think the door is gonna understand that they've protected Liscor and be like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna open for you. I don't think it's that simple, to be quite honest. What do you think, Eduron? Is it that simple? Should they have just said they
Nah,
protected Liscor?
nah. It's like it's like you said. There has to be proof. There has to be a passphrase, probably. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a quest reward. If you could just say you have done this and this without any proof.
Yeah,
Maybe maybe it's like if you have in the past, if you have done certain stuff, you get certain phrases to open the door as a reward or as a phrase.
Yeah.
If you have actually beaten an adult crawler, if they would have existed or have done something heroic, you get like the password for the VIP section, and then you can enter the door.
Mm-hmm. All right. McChuckles says, I'm with Mr. Wiggles that they need a physical form of token, as most likely a relic of the past to all these cities. Maybe Salus would have something close to this. Yeah, Salus or Chaldean, I would think, and Palace would even have the knowledge of it if it existed. Probably is top secret kind of stuff. Linu says Krellers weren't known to most people save for Antinium until the start of the Kreller Wars that started 6,000 years ago. Thus, the city wouldn't have knowledge about them and the calamity they caused. Yeah, it's the city is almost certainly older than 6,000 years old, or I should say, it's almost certainly been gone for longer than 6,000 years. So I do think they don't know what Krellers were or are. Pat says the horns could maybe use Aaron's ring or Lyra's blade if they weren't stuck in the crossroads. Aaron's ring, I don't think so, simply because it seems to just be, it's not, it's not too rare. Lyra's blade, though, yes, I do agree, and the narration, I think, agrees with you that, or no, it was the horns. Or maybe it was the narration. It was one or the other. The narration basically said that Lyra, if she was there, could have gotten in. So yeah, I do think you're right there. Penster Esther says Lyra's artifact can be used as a potential key into the City of Crossroads. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Linu says, on that note, I want to point out that I completely didn't get it. Why didn't like City of Graves? My current theory is that it was so vile and evil that even other world cities hated it, but I don't think that's confirmed. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed during Head Snatcher's point of view.
Yep.
In part
Yep.
2 and 3 of Adventure Interlude. It basically said they were at war with the other cities, and it was the reason they were at war with the other cities. Head Snatcher was the reason, because Head Snatcher's a vile thing who snatches heads.
I can't believe it, but to say Mr. Riddles is right. I can't believe I just said that.
Oh,
Mr. Riddles is
my fellow co-host is saying I'm correct. The
correct.
end times are near.
Yes. I mean, it's
To
your
be fair, he
birthday.
said Mr. Wiggles was correct, not Mr. Wiggles.
That's horrible. Can't believe it. Anyways, McChuckle said, did anyone think that they could have maybe discussed proof with the Guardian after the comment about the City of Stars? I don't know how smart the Guardians are. Like, it fully depends on how sapient they are, or how capable they are of accepting something that's current day that they might not know about. Dart Time Goo says Jordan checks where Liscor is, finds out they protect the City of Graves, and starts shooting them. Lunu says Hell's Warden is a title for people who slew adult Krellers and goes all the way back to Kreller Wars. And then Luna quotes a couple passages I'm not going to read out, but yeah, it dates to Kreller Wars as far as we know, and it's not a repurposed title.
Thank you
All right.
for researching. I think we have time for one last question.
Yeah.
Probably
one or two, whatever you want.
Perfect.
Okay. Given that Pirateaba says this will be the last chapter before the solstice, any last-minute crackpot theories or thoughts about possible twists that could happen during it? So I've kind of already gone over one of my crackpot theories. What do you have, Eduron?
To be honest, at this point, I don't have that many theories right now. I mean, I've already told that I think that Casigna is gonna like make all the souls she eats into flesh puppets and stick them at the living people. That we are gonna see Zel Shivertail flesh puppet attacking other people, and or at least maybe with the skills of Zel Shivertail or the fighting style of him, and like all the other legendary souls she ate. That's gonna be a thing, I guess. And otherwise, I really have no idea.
Yeah. So my crackpot theory, I've already said it basically, but was just that the horns are gonna use the orange and purple lads they found, and they're either gonna ally with one of them, or they're just going to lure them out of the crossroads into the back of Casigna's army and just get them to attack Casigna's army and help out. Inadvertently or advertently. That's kind of my theory on
That
how they're going to do.
Something has to happen because it was teased that Casigna totally forgot about the crossroads.
Yeah.
And you're correctly that something they now that they are there, and it was like kind of teased that Casigna forgot about the Iron Fleet, the crossroads. There's something important coming out from there.
You know, that's one of the things that like the numerologist was talking about and Shastrel was talking about. The horns are connected to Aaron, you know, and they need to be there with Aaron. And you have to think about it. What can the horns, a 5-man team, do against an army? What can they really contribute? And at the end of the day, they'll be useful. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a 5-man team against what is probably going to be hordes of undead pouring out of the dungeon from Casigna. You know, that's my other theory is, you know, hordes of undead from the dungeon is what's going to happen. So that's still just a 5-man team contributing to tens of thousands of soldiers. But if they bring back something from the crossroads, if they open the door and bring out, you know, monsters that will potentially attack the undead too, that's something significant they could contribute.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, now that we know that like some of the monsters living in Israel are probably coming from that, it's again a nice little lore drop that acid flies are probably coming from the crossroads. I love stuff like this. It even makes sense. Like, I mean, in-world can be dangerous, but something like acid flies, it's even too bizarre for in-world, for the normal world. That it kind of makes sense that they're coming from there, for me at least. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see monsters in the crossroads because it's like completely uncivilized and all these monsters can just grow unimpeded except by other monsters. Anyways,
Alright, so
Bleach Soul wanted to
Bleach
speak.
Soul wanted to speak?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, I do believe that Elskarash and Naravia, Yazdil, Floss, Fetohep, others like will play a vital role in defeating the gods. Of course, at a great sacrifice. There will be more than I think the war gonna be on multiple fronts and not only just in the score. So the others will be fighting fighting the gods, and I think since Casigna is like a necromancer, so Oskarash and Pisces will be pivotal or vital into combating her undead. They are not maybe high level enough for that, but they're still gonna have some influence on the undead, and have to fight her back. That's it.
Yeah, could be. All right. Who's next?
I think that's all the people who wanted to speak, so I can read things out now.
Correctly.
All right. Linu says Visma will turn out to be Antinium in disguise. That's my theory since Volume 8. All right. We got the crack out. We're
At least it
stuffing
was a comment from Lino not mentioning a certain elf, but
Yeah.
it's progress.
It's different. You're right. Dart Time Guru says the Horns being in the Crossroads for a week and Vofia joining them will trigger Solomon Grundy and will cause Bograms to be fated to die on a Saturday. Wow. I love these puns you come up with,
Oh
Dart
my
Time Guru.
goodness.
They're so good. They're so good. I hope you know that I respect you so much. So much.
How's the Ryan? When was Solomon Grundy born?
I don't know.
Born on a Wednesday? I don't know.
No clue. No clue. Anyways.
I'm not a Batman expert.
Me neither. Big Mick Chuckles says the Tesla gambler makes Casigna re-roll Nat 20 or makes her lose her legendary resistance. Okay, we're coming out with some real crack theories here. I like it. Sir Bear says Pisces, the anti-necromancer will quote unquote kill Casigna like how he quote unquote killed Tamaroth and the Nullmoot. Okay, it's not a bad thought. Kel says the theory that Cassie will open the dungeon and release the Mother of Greys isn't really a crackpot theory. It just seems reasonable. It feels like this is why the dungeon plot has been sidelined for so long. On the other hand, I want to see Nerhavia and Ask Crash show up with their kids to add to the chaos and anti-Cassie efforts. Unfortunately, I think Azkarash is more likely to be on the side of the Blood Tier pirates in the war against Tarandria's fleet during the solstice. But
he still wants to see them dead.
Yeah, we don't know for sure where he's going to be, so I guess he could come to the end too. But especially because he was like kind of teased with, Casigna is just a straight up better necromancer than him. So he might feel like, okay, I got to come here and see this necromancer that's so much better than me.
I could certainly see Nerhavia manipulating him into that.
That's true. Yeah. Nerhavia is super manipulative. That's what she's good at.
Yeah, plus he'll know that his apprentice is headed back in that direction, and he's been kind of protective of the Inn and Aaron previously. So
true.
Also, his kids need a field test.
Might be a.
Is it time for Torrent to show up again?
Yes, Torrent.
Oh my God! Yes. Torrent.
Let's get Torrent. I want some Torrent.
Torrent plus Healing Slime are showing up again.
Let's do it.
Creations.
All right, Linu says, compare people like Teriarch, Tolv, Telly, etc. to Horns. Either bring something great or they will be kind of not useful, not useless, but not very useful compared to heavy hitters. Yeah, it's like the Horns will definitely be useful if they come by themselves, but it's still just 5 extra people when there's tens of thousands of soldiers there, high-level combatants, all that. Absent says, not sure what, but I think the Frailing sitting that Zynir talked to will help in some way. I'm not sure about that, but that does remind me that Niers has his castling skill, which will allow him to teleport in, any company of warriors he could want into the solstice event, which we've kind of, it was hinted at quite a while ago, but we haven't.
Is it off cooldown again?
Yes, it is.
It
It
is.
is. Yeah.
Oh.
So he
Oh,
could
that
do
would
that.
be awesome.
It'd be great. Relia says, "Oh man, this is a this is gonna be a fun one to read." Relia says that Erin's summer solstice is actually a long lost daughter of Caligma and twin sister of Kawaini. It would make sense of why Caligma chose her out of all the humans. It's because she knew. Smiley face with at least 20 chins, a new record. But for real, I actually reckon that Caligma is gonna run like a kind of cheesy PR campaign across the world to try and tempt the good folk of Enworld with levels to challenge their high-level leaders at the mere cost of their souls. Shocked face with 20 chins. Either that or she'll show up to the Wandering Inn with a chessboard, having practiced for months for a triumphal return to the board game scene, proceed to dominate Erin on the Scryan Orb for all to see. 666.6 losses in a row and one pity draw until Erin breaks and gives it to Casigma. Frowny face with 10 chins. Okay, that is
That
out
is
there,
that
even in
is
pack theories.
that is you can scratch the theory. That's just pure crack.
Yeah, it's like that's like beyond human Earth world crack. That's like super magical crack that has had
Indeed.
10 generations of mages making it into more and more crack.
Oh
Ugh.
shit! I love
All right.
it.
Mystical Pie says, my crackpot theory is Eldivan shows up and wreaks havoc / neutralizes Terry since he's affiliated with the Casigna. By neutralize, I don't mean kill. I just mean make him not a factor in the fight. There's so many moving elements, though, set up that it's hard to see anything completely unexpected showing up, though. Yeah. It does. It is curious what Eldivan is going to do during the solstice, as he's very clearly on the side of Casigna, but we haven't seen him, make many preparations or anything.
I think it would be kind of poetical if they take each other out,
Oh yeah,
because I still think Teriak needs to die, and he is going to die,
yeah.
and it would be poetical if they take each other out.
Mm-hmm. Bleach Soul says Solomon Grundy born on a Monday. Okay,
Ah.
now we know. Sir Bear says Torn hype, Torn Night of Solstice hype. Yes.
Oh
Night of
my
Solstice.
goodness!
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome! I want that. Now I want that.
Let's do it. Bleach
Now
Soul
I want
says
that.
Torn will escape with his friend and come to Liskor to help Eren. I hope so. I want Torn back in Eren's life. I want them to make up, even if it's never going to happen. I do want it. Moerchen says, we saw the horns practicing without skills of magic, and Caligma will just take over all the death magic, making their Javian and as useless. The horns get split up again. Pisces and Ceres will be transported to the sea battle and make an impact against Kawine. Yevlon and Kisimver will make an impact against Caligma. I'm not sure I agree with it, but maybe.
Splitting them up, I don't know.
I don't see that happening.
They're
Again,
a team.
so soon.
They're good as a team.
Yeah. Linu says, I've small amount of hope that one certain silver-haired half-elf with a cat that loves her so very much will level up / get a title during solstice if she does something big, but I'm not sure of that. I give it low odds, to be honest, but I would spam for a month if that happened, and certain person's DMs would explode. Wink, wink at someone who likes Colt. I couldn't imagine who that is. Oh no. Rack Giraffe says Halrick's arrow is going to break the system in a freak accident during the final showdown, and everyone will lose their levels. The afterlives will open up, no longer constrained by reality, and the dead will side with the living to retake the afterlife, which will be rebuilt in the image of the sky, brought up by the fame built on pawn and the faithful's participation in the war with death. You know, Brack, I saw this crack theory going somewhere else at the start, because if the system breaks and everyone loses their levels, I think Inworld is like done. There's no
Yep.
way they're gonna combat the gods at that point. Like, all the super immortals are dead. There's no way that mortals can get strong enough without the system to fight back against the gods at this point. I think it's just over if the system
It's-
shuts down.
But I forgot about the arrow, to be honest. It's probably gonna be something important. It's gonna happen
Yeah.
with it. It's like what is it called? Shepard's gun or something like this. It was mentioned, so it has to be shot at some point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be important.
It certainly is something I had forgotten about. It could come in play. I could see that very easily. Okay, Kyneo says the solstice is set up as basically surviving the day with no real way of retaliating at Casigna, but I think things could end up with her dying, so she could end up risking herself out of pettiness and overconfidence after some time. And the Grand Design, Kawine, and Faye could have ways to attack her if given reason and opportunity. Maybe even Aaron could have thought some long shot plan. We have too many antagonists, and taking her out could help shift focus to human ones for some time. Could also be interesting if Azcresh managed to salvage some of her power to make him scarier as a main antagonist. Those are some good points. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kel says, if Niers trades the Ghostly Hand tribe back to Izril, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I like that, Kel. Bleach Soul says, I think Casigna has more human allies than just Eldwin. I expect more allies that will be a shock to us, like Dragon Speaker Lucivia. Yeah, I do see. This is like one of the perfect times for some of the in-world characters to betray Aaron. Like, we don't get many betrayals, and this is like the perfect time for a betrayal to happen. Relia says, what if all the levels in World get transferred to Earth, then like both worlds just kind of spontaneously break? Yeah, what if the story just ended with everyone dying, you know?
Supernova?
Yeah. Alright, Kynea says, also, we need some way to explore Hell at some point, even if maybe not now. It could be a good way to continue the story of the Goblin King's story. But I think the easiest way for that would be with a main goblin dying or half dying, kind of like Aaron. The most appropriate for that, I think, would be Numtonk. If he can come back, it would be good for his class, but it's possible semi-death flag for now. Whew. That was a lot of crack theories.
Indeed.
The thing is, we do have one point at the end of the discussion that we need to get to. Yeah.
All right.
And then, so I'm going to let these two people keep typing, and then I'll read out the comments. Descanter, are you ready right now?
Yes, not urgent, so you can close things out as you want. I just didn't want you to finish and then shut down and
I
everyone
still
go away
remember.
immediately. So
I remember you're here. I got you. Linus says, I think we should send Otheus the Fourth to be our point of view in Helsty. This way we will get to see that relevant plots. Oh man. You just want Otheus dead, Linu. We all know it. It is transparent. Moerchen says, nice, like an Ovid saga in response to Kyneas.
What?
Kel says, I do have some concerns about Chaldean possibly switching sides because he's afraid of his mind going, also his impending death. Yeah. Chaldean
He is not gonna betray people.
I just see it happening. Chaldean is one of those people who thinks about his city first
Of
and
course,
his
but but he's not even he is gonna be that delusional to think
He's
that
stupid.
he's no, he's not. He's the
He's
opposite of
stupid.
he is the opposite of stupid.
No, he's
Eduron, you have a point in that he's very, very smart, and it's very possible. Like, it's a concern that I have about the possibility, but I don't know that it'll happen. But you also have to remember that his mind is going,
also
which means he would be easier to talk into things that he wouldn't have necessarily fallen for previously.
I think you all underestimate this man. He is like the Amanda Waller of fucking World City of the fucking Drakes. He behaves like an ass. Often enough, he's calculating. He looks out for his people, for his city. But at the end, I don't think that he would ever betray the little
Eduron.
side.
Eduron, you say he's smart, right?
Yes.
What is smarter from a cold logical point of view than siding with a god who could potentially kill them all easily, you know? What's smarter than that? He should just side with them and he'll be on the winning side.
Smarter is not to antagonize the rest of the world and make them their enemy. Make them your enemy, maybe?
Anyways, okay,
I mean-
let's finish this up.
All
Let's
right.
finish this up. Anyways, Penster Esther says, in response to Bleach Soul's comment about other allies for Signa, Penster Esther says, unlikely, the Grand Design chapter lists all the people who currently have any allegiances out, unless the characters themselves get visited by Casigna on the solstice itself. I highly doubt it. And I do think we could get some visits on the solstice itself. Sir Bear says, Chaldean made a deal with Belvedere, who attacked Palace's citizens. Enough said. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all the comments. So let's go to the main reason we did this whole after chapter discussion. Let's hear the Scanter serenade us once again with another song. Yeah, the Scanter, go ahead.
Hit it.
All right. So, I'm really excited for this one. Hopefully Asteria is just idling and is actually here this time, after the last couple. Anyways, so, there is a particular event which someone noted early on, but we haven't really talked about this chapter. Kolth says no bards have written about it because they were too busy laughing their asses off. I say Kolth was wrong. And one bard stopped laughing for just long enough to write and play the ballad of the crab and the violin. You can imagine Devil Went Down to Georgia-ish music playing for this. Gather round and hear a tale of glory and chagrin, to the greatest duel on Izril of the crab and the violin. Denius was a name rank and he stood both tall and proud. Anger him and the clothes you wore would be your funeral shroud. In fiddling and swordplay he'd no equal, it was said. He'd play a tune while carving his initials in your head. Fight, fight, fight for your life. Call on war and call on strife. Send a note to your next of kin and be prepared to die to win. One day Denius and his team geared up and sallied forth, a ragged bunch of whom you've heard, the Orchestra of the North. They stopped beside the ocean for a midday picnic meal. Then from the water came a splash and the rasping sound of steel. Before them stood an 8-foot crab with claws like sharpened blades, dancing side to side amidst the gently lapping waves. It straightened up to give them a salute and then a bow, and Denius cried out, a challenge honor must allow. Fight, fight, fight for your life. Call on war and call on strife. Send a note to your next of kin and be prepared to die to win. After 13 passes, neither duelist had a scratch, and they knew whatever they'd bargained for, that they had themselves a match. Denieth said, friends, if I should die, please don't intervene. So Laricel and the orchestra bore witness to this scene. Fight, fight, fight for your life. Call on war and call on strife. Send a note to your next of kin and be prepared to die to win. For 7 hours and more they fought, and both refused to yield. Their only goal to smite their foe or drive them from the field. The champions withdrew and silently agreed to rest. Denieth knew in his bones he'd come in second best. The named rank raised his bow and started up a mournful song, only to see the sword crab clutch its claws and play along. One last painful lesson for the adventurer to rue. Turned out that the sly old crab flat out outfiddled him too. Oh, fight, fight, fight for your life. Call on a war and call on strife. Send a note to your next of kin and be prepared to die to win. Gather around, pay your respects to the best that have ever been. To the greatest duel on Izril, to the crab and the violin. To those who give their soul to win, to the crab and the violin. And there you are.
Wonderful.
Wow. I'm clapping again.
Wonderful.
I was pretty
Very
proud of
well.
having this ready for this discussion.
That was awesome.
I can't believe you
Thanks, Pete.
got that out so fast. It was very, very good.
That was very awesome, dude. Thanks.
Great work. All right. With that, with once again another wonderful song, we're going to end this discussion. This was the after chapter discussion for 9.64 BH and Eduron. Thank you for hosting it with us, and thank you. It's nice to get new hosts. But yeah, great discussion.